What's up, guys? Welcome to an episode of Pattay's Performance. Today in the driveway is our first tractor of the 2022 season. See, I got it right this time. Mrs. Pattay's Performance dragged this home. Mrs. Pattay's Performance dragged this home. I just want to reiterate that, okay? And there is some drama behind that. Now, I am not going to tell that drama yet. I will leave that up to her, because if she chooses not to say anything, okay, then you guys are just going to have to hear my version of the story and not hers. Now, we're on camera because she won't see this beforehand. Her intentions were good, and we have to acknowledge that. And yes, she did a good job. This tractor is very different from what we've done in the past, and we definitely had to broaden our horizons because we really didn't have a choice, right? I mean, this. Maybe I should do a video on what to look for in a lawn tractor before you buy it. And also, I'm very proud of the work she has done up to this point. Before, these babies had to step in and and finish it up. Do I tell you what it needs, or do I just unveil the tractor and then you guys could take it in for a minute? I don't know what to do. I never did a tractor. So here's the cool part. This cover came with it. I'm not sure if we should hold on to it just for the channel, for our unveilings, or we sell it with it. I don't know. So we had this tractor for longer than I want to admit. She bought it and it sat on the back of Mandingo for 2 weeks. But lo and behold, let's talk about our first tractor of the 2022 season. We're just gonna let the birds do the talking. Damn it! I'm almost positive this battery is toast. Shh. Good thing there's no app. Oh. Damn it! This battery's weak. Come on, kick over. Alrighty. You know what? Let me hook up the charger and then we'll chat. All right, so we have the battery charger hooked up to it. It's at 18%, so the key's been on for at least 2 or 3 days. Thank God there's no hour meter, because that would have shot those hours right up. I don't want to give away. How about this? She bought the tractor in the rain, and normally, you know, fine, forget it. I bought a tractor in the rain too, that Troy built, that the guy actually let me work on in his driveway, and I actually got it running in his driveway with some go-go juice, and I said, all right, I'll figure out the rest from there. I took his word for it because he showed me the receipt. Remember that he just had it serviced last year, so I kind of gambled that he didn't do anything to screw it up. We went from there. One owner, original machine, came with all the user manuals and guides, which I actually utilized, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. I think I might need your help on this, and that's why she has no choice. If you see me in a different outfit, that means she didn't want to go on camera and tell her side of the story. She's letting me do it all and hear my story, and then maybe at the end, you know, when she likes to come out when all the hard work is done, and she could tell her side of the story. So, you know what? I'm gonna tell my version, and then she could tell hers in the final reveal, because that's when she likes to. We can't even sit down. All right, so Mrs. Pattay's Performance saw this for sale, and she pre-negotiated the deal, which she says she doesn't like to do. She'd rather just go there. So she pre-negotiated a price. No, she didn't. She did not pre-negotiate. And the guy was asking $6. Well, the guy was asking $6 for this with no issues advertised. Okay? She didn't see anything wrong with it besides a flat tire. She tried negotiating with him because the tractor is 10 years old, and the only thing he ever done to it was just change the oil. So she says, you know, this thing's 10 years old, this thing's gonna need more than an oil change. So she was correct, but the guy didn't want to budge, right? The motor had a surge, and that's all she really, you know, checked out and looked at. The one thing that tipped her off was that when she got there, the battery was on a trickle charger, and the guy fired it up, and the guy's like, no, I always keep a trickle charge over the season. And he's like, listen, feel the muffler. It's a cold start. It's the first start, which is like, yeah, okay. I don't believe you. But she did it anyway, and the machine fired right up. So it had a surge, and the only thing that's been done to it in 10 years was change the oil. So she tried making him a lower offer, and he refused, and they settled in at $500. So she brought it here. Kind of, sort of, and almost, well, you know what? It didn't make it here. A little hiccup. That'll be part of this. So I'll put a screenshot up as a little teaser for you guys, and then we'll come back to that later, my version. So finally got it home, and it took 2 weeks to get this off the back of the trailer because we had other things going on and whatever. So then I got my eyes and ears and hands on it, and as you can tell, it's missing pieces, which we have. If she came home with a tractor like this for $500, divorce. Sorry, get out. You don't even get one of these. Maybe you do, but you don't come back. Gotta go. Sorry, you can't make decisions like this. Okay, I expect better from you, and I expect better from you guys. You would not spend $500 for this. I don't care. No way. Unless you need it, wanted it, and you have these missing pieces. No, never. Not $500 as is. No, not this. Comes with the double bagger system. So it is worth it, and we're learning as we go along. So the carburetor surges. We got the carburetor to stop surging by making some adjustments, but those adjustments are at the max setting. And honestly, even though it works, I don't feel comfortable selling it like that. And it has that Nikki 6 carburetor. So we ordered a Warboro and we're gonna put it on there. Hopefully we can do that today. The valve cover, which she didn't detect, is leaking oil. As you guys can see right here, it was dripping oil. Now, I went to go adjust the valves on this, which we'll talk about, but these bottom bolts were loose. I said, you know what? I'm not gonna tighten them down. I'm just gonna adjust the valves. 0.03 and 0.05 they were at. This one was exactly at 0.03, didn't touch it. This one was pretty tight, maybe like a 0.04, so I had to loosen it a little bit. And this was a gray RTV, so I'm thinking somebody else was in here. I actually posted some comments and questions online, and I got a lot of mixed reviews. Now, I got excited because the surging, I saw the intake gasket pop out. Now, the crazy part is, and I can't explain this to you, is I actually tried taking the intake gasket and putting it back in the hole. Remove this whole assembly and we could try and pack it back in. And believe it or not, it wouldn't fit back in there. I says, okay, so we're just gonna have to order a new one. So to keep things going, I tried actually calling a couple local repair shops. They don't keep anything in stock. Their exact words were, I don't work on a lot of lawn tractors, sorry. All right, so we actually found one online, cheap, reasonable, not like we have a choice. And they actually let that gasket O-ring sit outside for practically the whole day as we were doing other things. I said, you know, Chris, we really shouldn't leave everything open. Let's just put everything back in there. And guess what? The O-ring freaking fits. I don't know. I've never seen that before in my life, that a blown out O-ring that doesn't fit because it's blown out all of a sudden fits. We started it up thinking it would fix the problem. No. And that's when we started messing with the carburetor. Flat tire, easy peasy fix, ATF in the tire, fantastic. The back wheels, whoo-wee, they give us a fight. But obviously we got them off. You guys know with snowblowers too, I'm very adamant about the wheels not being frozen to the shafts. I think that's very, very important. And when we sell machines, I actually put that in the ad. I think it's very important that people know that the actual shafts haven't been posted. It's funny, the fronts came out no problem. The rears, whew, they put up a fight, but a little bit of persuasion, a little extra wide action, and these actually came off, but they did give us a fight. The deck is off. I promised you that we would never take a deck off, and remember, I promised you, not her. So she broke that promise. Or maybe she didn't break anything because she never made a promise to you guys. One of the spindles are bad. Let's see. One of the spindles is bad. All right. She did not catch that. I did. All she had to do is take 30 seconds in the rain, and this one with the worn blade. So you want to know what I tried calling the guy and reaching out to him, and just for shits and giggles, just to see what he would say. But came in, listen, you know, my wife just bought this lawn tractor, yada yada. You know, it needs this, this, and that, and just to see. Just because you never know, you have nothing to lose. And he says, no, there's nothing wrong with the tractor, never gave him an issue. probably something is loose. So this is the first deck that she had to pull off. So I give her credit to that. And she was talking smack the whole way because, believe it or not, I'm not calling you guys liars. I'm not saying I don't trust you. But pulling off the deck was very, very easy. So easy that if she could do it, so could you. But in the process, it was 3 connections, and they were all like C-clips and stuff. No, that's exactly what they were. They were just C-clips. So only 1 spindle was bad. Now, I'm not no, hold on. Put that there. I am not no tractor expert by any means, but I'm going to treat this like anything else we work on, especially a car. Like when you do suspension work, if one thing is bad on one side, I was taught you always replace the other, right? Because if this component's failing, a good chance the component adjacent to it, parallel to it, is gonna fail as well. So we decided to replace both spindles. Now the question is, okay, remember this is our first lawn tractor, our first spindles, right? You could rebuild them with just the bearings for like 20 bucks. I think there was a $10 difference between getting just the spindles and no pulleys, or for an extra 10 bucks you get 2 brand new pulleys, 2 new spindles, and of course hardware came in each package. Except when you got come on, say cameras. Come on. If you got bearings, it didn't come with new hardware. So we decided, because this is our first lawn tractor, and we did speak to one other person, 2 other people about this. I spoke, Nick from Medford, Ken's from KSE. You know, we decided because this is our first lawn tractor that we are going to replace the spindles, hardware, and pulleys, right? And then we're going to keep them as rebuildable cores. On our own, we will rebuild them. Here's the thing, because I don't know anything, and I am thinking with just, you know, my mulletness, and I'm thinking that God knows how long he's been operating this machine with a bad spindle, with a blown out bearing. Now, if that's all wallowing around, right? It's doing stuff to other things inside here that we may not be sure about. Could it be wearing out the spindle itself? And that when we drop this thing out, we're gonna see that this spindle is like egg-shaped from the bearing walloping around for God knows how long. You know, we don't know. And the same thing with the pulley. You know, they sell spindles with pulleys for a reason. That's what I'm thinking, mullet thinking. So I says, for 10 bucks, it's not gonna make or break us. You know, let's just order everything new, and then from there we will rebuild them and call it a day. These do not have Zerk fittings on them, but the new ones that we ordered do have Zerk fittings, so that's pretty cool. Spindles, blades. My God, have the price of blades have shot up like crazy. Because this is a nice tractor. I wanted, like we did with the Troy Built, I want to get you gator blades, and I want to get you high lift blades. Gator blades of this tractor are like 60, 80 bucks. You guys seen what we were paying for blades last year. I don't remember paying 60, 80 bucks for a set of blades for a 42-inch machine, you know? So it is what it is on that. So we got blades, spindles, valve cover leak, tire, carburetor. Yeah, and the tires are frozen. So let's talk about the valves. So I'm not gonna lie and sit there and say I know anything and everything, but I am aware that it is 2022, and in 2022, the world is at our fingertips. You can go on the old interwebs and Google things and look things up. So in the owner's manual, okay, I was able to find your valve specs. Put a little screenshot in case the camera doesn't pick this up. Focus, okay? Your intake valve is at 0.003 to 0.005 inches, and your exhaust is 0.005 to 0.007. Now, when I adjust valves, I like them to be on the tight side when I work on the bigger stuff. So I assume the bigger stuff is just like the smaller stuff. But remember, the bigger stuff doesn't have a compression release like the smaller stuff does. So anyway, we adjusted the valves. The intake did not need to be touched. It was, in my opinion, dead on a 0.003. The exhaust was a little tight, so we backed it out to 0.005. It was maybe at like a 0.004, 004.5. But I figure, while we're in there, let's adjust the valves. 10 years, we know this guy didn't do anything. And according to the manual, right, we'll screenshot it, you are supposed to adjust your valves every season, basically every year. So we figure let's do its first valve adjustment in its history. Now, remember, I'm uneducated. I only understand there's only time to adjust the valves when you have a starting issue. This thing ran and started fine. Well, it started fine. Running was a different story. So I thought maybe a valve adjustment would fix it. Not fix it, but would help it. So when because we're in no rush for parts, we adjusted the valves, resealed it, and we let it sit for 2 days, because that's just the way the weather turned out and everything. We're gonna let this thing sit for 8 hours and let everything cure. Battery's at 48%. So we'll keep this on here. So anyway, so I posted online because I'm a willy-nilly OCD issue person, is that I wanted to know the torque specs for the valve cover bolts. It's a really, really nice machine. We're gonna be asking for a lot of money. Something simple like this may cause failure. I'd rather just fix it, right? Valve cover leaking. These came out loose. I want to make sure they don't come out loose again. And I didn't want to trust a good old torque arm. We have the right tools. Let's find out the right information. Did we have a pickle finding the right information? I found one spec that said 220 inch-pounds. And I'm like, that's insanely tight, because on Tecumseh's, I'm almost positive it's 80 or 90 inch-pounds. I forgot. This season I didn't do too much. So 80 or 90 inch-pounds for a Tecumseh flathead head gasket. Why is this valve cover gasket tighter? Like, it just didn't make any sense to me. It says, you know what? Let's use judgment. Let's set it to 220, which was the max on the torque wrench. And we went to go torque it down. The torque arm was telling me it's different. So actually I went online and I posted a question, and I got every answer but the answer that I asked for. People were saying that you don't need to adjust, you don't need to torque down the valve covers, they do it hand tight, I'm doing it for 30, 40 years. Yeah, I get it, but just answer my question. That's all I wanted to know. So anyway, I never found that torque spec. I still haven't. We kept it, the valve covers, torque arm tight, and it is what it is. Now the question is that I got a private message from Nick from Bellport saying that I adjusted the valves too tight, and because of the compression release, there's going to be issues. So he was saying I need to basically, I think it was 0.005 and 0.007 on the tractor. Then I spoke to two other people. 5-Speed Ash says you shouldn't touch the valves unless they become an issue, because he's come across where the valves have been touched and they cause problems later on, even when they're in spec, according to him. He's done a lot of tractors before me. I am out of my element, so I'm not saying he's lying and I'm not saying anything. I'm just telling you, when I talk to other people, what the argument, or no argument, what discussion we had. So then I said, you know what? Let me go on the old interwebs, let me go on the YouTubes, and we watched Bob at Double Wide 6 do a valve adjustment. And of course it's a different engine, but the process is still the same. And he adjusted valves at 0.06 or 0.006 and 0.006. And he didn't explain why. He's like, oh, these are the valve specs. But he didn't explain why, like this is the low and this is the high. Why are we at 0.06? You know what I mean? Like, I watched that video a couple of times. Bobby baby. So, I actually reached out to Bob, and Bob set to set everything at 0.004. So then I says, all right, I trust you. You know, Bob does. If anybody does tractors, it's Bob. Bob's been doing them for decades, right? When he first started doing tractors, he had hair. And right now, he don't have any more hair. And look at me. I've been pulling my freaking hair out over this tractor because she's been doing all the work and I've been coaching her, and it ain't pretty. So tell me what you guys would do with the valves. Bob said to just leave it as is. It's not too late, but because everything is sealed up and ready to go, you know, fire this thing up, and if it's an issue, then readjust the valves. If it's not an issue, leave it as is. Tell me what you guys think. Please start. Let's see, I smell gas. That's fuel. We have fuel. This is plugged in. Now, I don't think the carburetor adjustments would be an issue, but we'll find out. Oh, wait a minute, did I plug in the spark plug? Yeah, spark plug's in there. All right, looks like we might have to go back inside here. This thing should have fired up already. Let's give this a little go-go juice. Let's give this a little help. Maybe the carburetor adjustments are off now, because I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. I'm just thinking out loud. We're gonna do a Hail Mary. Yeah, this thing's firing. I think the valves are off. Now we gotta adjust the valves. I'm gonna do that off camera because I want to start the deck and then we'll do the valves. Nothing like getting something that runs and touching it and now it doesn't run. And technically all we did is we adjusted the exhaust valve on it. So we'll, excuse me, I'll set them to 0.004 on each one. And according to the manual, 0.004 in the intake is fine. On the exhaust valve, it's tight. And you know what, thinking about it, 0.004 in the exhaust, that's the only thing we changed. So that's weird. I definitely don't think the cam is worn on this. Hope not. So I'm gonna tackle the deck with the paint, and that is the issue. And also what the other issue is,